Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily News Quiz Analysis for IAS Prelims 2025. It is 15th December today, and in this video we are going to solve different types of questions which are very much relevant for your preparation. If you are preparing for UPSC Prelims 2025 or you are preparing for any civil service exams, then this video is going to be very much important for you guys. Before we will start solving these questions, I would like to give the brief intro about the video so that you will get more idea about it and you will get more connected with it. Every day we try to upload this video on our YouTube channel, and every day we try to discuss three types of questions in it. The first set of questions which we discuss here are we take questions directly from the current affairs. What we do, we take up the most important articles from the newspapers. We try to break them down into the simplest language possible, and we try to find out the ways and in how many ways a prelims based question can be formed from such article. So we try to bring that question to you guys so that it will help you prepare well for your preparation. So this is the first set of questions which we discuss here. We take questions directly from the current affairs. And after discussing these questions with respect to the current affairs, we move towards the second part of our discussion where we discuss questions from the static part. What we do, we take up every day, we try to take up a prelims based question from the static part. As we had started with Indian polity, right now we are discussing the DPSPs, and right now we are going to frame a question on a small article from DPSPs, and try to discuss it in different ways, and try to take every important point from that particular article, and we will try to frame a question on that article so that it will give the idea how a question can be formed from such discrete and such small articles to in your UPSC exams or in your upcoming exams. So this is how we prepare you very well for your preparation. So after discussing the questions from current affairs and the static part, we move towards the last part of our discussion where we discuss questions which were asked in our previous exams, which we call PVQs. We discuss previous year questions. We take up every day few questions and discuss them. We try to find out the ways and methods by which we can solve those questions if we don't have the proper knowledge, and also we try to find out how we can implement that knowledge which we get in these questions in our upcoming exams. As UPSC has this habit, they often repeat the questions, if not the questions, but they have the habit of repeating the options. So for us, how we should prepare ourselves by the help of these previous year questions, it becomes important for us, and in this video we teach you how to do that thing also. So in nutshell, this is what we are going to discuss in this video. Now before we will start discussing these questions, I would like to give I would like to request you guys for if you are preparing for your next exams, then this request is going to be very much important for you if you will follow it. Everybody, if I was at your place, what I will do, I would just start noting down these questions. I will I will make my own question bank for my exams. When my exams would be near, at that time I would want to revise the current affairs, I would want to revise the static part, or I will want to go through the previous year questions. But technically, when there is only 1 month left for our exams, it gets very much difficult for us to do so. So what would I do at that time? I would definitely want something which will connect me to all those things. But if I have these questions with you, I would just go through these questions. These questions would definitely connect me with the current affairs. They will connect me with the static part, as well as they will give me the analysis of the previous year questions, so that it will be a nice revision before my exam, and also it will boost my confidence before entering the exam hall. So this would be very much helpful for me. So I request you guys, please do the same. Please take the screenshot of these questions, or at least note down these questions. Keep these questions with you. When your exams would be near, you would just revise these questions and they will connect you with your syllabus, what is required for your preparation. So this is what I want from you guys. And also, if you are the first time visitor, please do subscribe the channel, do share it with your friends so that they may also get benefited from the initiative, and also do interact with us. What else should we bring for you? Do criticize us where criticism is due, but be little respectful in that, we don't want to get demotivated. At the same time, we want to learn, we want to improve. As we are humans, we tend to make mistakes. If any mistake found in our video, please do write in the comments. We will try to fix that. So with this, let us have a look at the first question and try to solve it. Here the first question says, which of the following statements regarding the impeachment of the Vice President of India are correct? Here why we had brought this question, this is the major concern. It should be the major concern for you, sir. Why we had brought this question from nowhere here? The answer to this is in today's newspaper, as there was proper discussion about can the Vice President of India be impeached. Why is it in discussion? Because there are allegations against the chairman of Rajya Sabha from the opposition party members that he is very biased towards the ruling party. They often blame him that he is the unofficial spokesperson of the ruling party, and they are not happy with him. So in the Rajya Sabha, a motion has been moved against him, in which the opposition party members has moved a motion against him for his impeachment. So with respect to this, we need to know few things about the Vice President of India, about his appointment, how he can be removed. We need to know these important articles which are very much relevant with respect to Vice President of India. So coming back to it, first of all we need to know Article 63, which deals with there should be the Vice President of India. He is the second highest constitutional post. First it is president, then after president it is vice president. He is the second highest constitutional post in our country. So according to Article 63, there should be the Vice President of India. Then Article 64, which you should know, it is about that Vice President of India, he will act as the ex officio. He will act as the chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. So these two articles are very much important for you. And then we have Article 67, which is related to his term, for how many years his term would be there. It is 5 years term. How he can resign, he can send his resignation to the President of India, and also how he can be removed from his post. So with respect to this, we need to know, to understand the removal of Vice President, we need to know Article 67B, which basically deals with the removal of the Vice President, how he can be removed. For his removal, there is certain points which the members of the parliament have to follow. First of all, as he is the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, his removal will start. The procedure for his removal will start in Rajya Sabha only. It would start the majority members of the Rajya Sabha. They will start they will start the motion for his removal. Once it is accepted by the Rajya Sabha, it will be sent to the Lok Sabha, and also the majority members in the Lok Sabha will agree to that. In the meantime, once it is agreed, there would be 14 days period would be given to the chairperson. 14 days notice period would be given to the chairperson regarding this removal motion against him, and he will respond to it. So this is the criteria which is given in the Article 67 of the Indian Constitution, Article 67B of the Indian Constitution. So I think this much is very much relevant for with respect to this question, what was in the newspaper, why we had brought this question. I hope you had got the basic context behind it. Now let's try to solve this question and get it more to understand it more properly. So let's solve this question. Here the question says, which of the following statements regarding the impeachment of the Vice President of India are correct? We have to find out what are the correct statements in it. First statement, it says the resolution for impeachment can be initiated in either the Rajya Sabha or the Lok Sabha. It is totally incorrect, because as we had discussed it under Article 67B, it is clearly mentioned that the impeachment of the initiation of the impeachment of the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, it would start in where it would start in Rajya Sabha only, because he is the ex officio chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. So it will start only in Rajya Sabha. So here it can't be started in Lok Sabha. So with respect to this question, it is incorrect. Statement 2, the resolution must be passed by a majority of all the then members of the Rajya Sabha and agreed by the then majority of the members of the Lok Sabha. 100% correct, nothing wrong with this statement. Once the resolution is accepted, it should be passed by the majority of the members of the Lok Sabha, of the Rajya Sabha, then it should be agreed by the majority of the members of the Lok Sabha. Who will accept this motion? It is the deputy chairperson who would accept the motion for his removal. Then third statement, the grounds for impeachment are explicitly mentioned in the constitution. So this is the catch here. Often if you would not think over this statement, you would mark it correctly because you think it is mentioned in the impeachment of the process. You would what you would do, you would misread it unintentionally, that this statement talks about the procedure for impeachment. But unfortunately, we students often tend to make such mistakes. So it is very much important for us to read the questions properly, read everything line by line and understand it. Here the third statement talks about the grounds for impeachment. It does not talk about the process of impeachment. So with respect to this, the third statement, it is also incorrect because the grounds for impeachment are not explicitly mentioned in the constitution, but the procedure, it is explicitly mentioned in the constitution under article 67b. So with respect to this question, how many statements are correct? Only second statement is correct. So here the correct option is option B. So with this, let's I hope you had understood the question. You had understood these important articles which are relevant with the Vice President of India. Article 33, there should be the Vice President of India. Article 64, 63, 64, it talks about that the Vice President of India will act as the ex-official chairperson of the Rajya Sabha. Then Article 67, it talks about the certain it talks about the term of his office, for how many years he would be in office, how he can resign, and then article 67b talks about how the removal would start with respect to how his removal would be initiated in the parliament. So this is all about the impeachment of the vice president. In fact, the impeachment term is only used in the constitution with respect to the president, but usually in the media it is said like that. And also there was one thing which was misread in the media. It talked about the no confidence motion would be voted against the vice president, but that is totally incorrect and totally illiterate statement from the media. It is not the no confidence motion. We don't call it no confidence motion with respect to vice president, because he does not belong to any political party. Even though he would had initially been the member of any political party, or he may be biased towards the political party, but he does not belong to any political party, especially he does not belong to the governing political party. So no confidence motion can't be used against him. So this is totally incorrectly mentioned in the media. This you should know about it. So with this, let's move to the another question and try to solve that. Here the question is about the Arab Spring movement. It started in 2011 with Tunisia, 2010 with Tunisia, and it spread to other countries, and as many dictators were overthrown by the people there. There started civil wars. And why, you may ask me a question, sir, why we are discussing this question? Because of the situation, what is happening in Syria right now, as the Assad's government has been, turned, they had been thrown out. And to understand it, we need to go through the history. Let's understand what was the condition in the Syria from India's independence till now. If we look at the main points with respect to the history of Syria, we would find out that until 1971 there was huge coups going on in the Syria. Coups and anti-coups were going on in the Syria. Military coups were going on. Huge rebellions were there until 1971. But in 1971, the Assad regime came in. They belonged to the Shia community there, and they brought the stability in the country. They brought stability till 2010 exactly, but in 2010 the Arab Spring movement started and people started revolting against their dictators, and the same was seen in the Syria also. You know, in 2011 itself, in 2013 itself, there were huge revolts in the Syria. Many militant groups they went against the government. One of them was Al Nusra and many others. And also there was in the meantime, in 2013 2014 itself, there was introduction of ISI also, ISIS also. So there was huge uh, you know instability in the country. And it was estimated that in 2014 the Assad's government was so insecure that it was about to collapse. But at that time they had strong connection. Connection with the Russia and with the Russia and Iran. Around 2014 itself, their allies were very strongly. They had good allies with alienation towards Russia and Iran. They had protected them very well in that phase of the time, and also US came in and they had their concerns with ISIS, and it somehow after 2014 2015 the conditions in Syria somehow came to the normal. But still, there were different countries who were participating in it in the country in the Syria, like Turkey. They were very much they were funding some rebel groups there. Similarly, US, UAE, Saudi Arabia, they were funding some rebel groups and many others. So now let's drive fast and come to the present time. As right now, condition in Middle East is very much volatile, and also in Europe. Russia is involved with the Ukraine and Iran and its proxies like Hamas and Hezbollah. They had lost the control, and they are involved with Gaza. So it was the right time for the SGS, which was earlier known as Al Nusra. It was right time for them to counter back and come back and overthrow the Assad's regime, and they did it very smoothly. And finally, they conquered Damascus, the capital of Syria, and now they are their leader. He clearly said that he does not want any war in the country. He does not want the leadership. They are going to share it. They want transition. They want smooth transition of this power. But the condition in Syria, in nutshell, is very bad right now with respect to the geopolitics. And we had already discussed about it. Right now, I'm giving you the nutshell about it, what is happening there. We had discussed that in our earlier classes also in very much detail. So right now, why we had brought this question, because it is very much relevant with the condition right now in the Syria, because it all started with the rise of the Arab Spring. So let's try to understand what it is about. Here the question says the Arab Spring movement, which began in Tunisia in 2010, primarily aimed at, what does it aim at? Increase oil production in the Middle East, totally incorrect. Promote religious fundamentalism in the region, totally incorrect. Create a unified Arab nation under a single leader, totally incorrect. Third, overthrow authoritarian regimes and establish democratic governments, 100% correct. This is what this movement is all about. It primarily aimed at overthrow authoritarian regimes and establish democratic governments in the Middle East. So with this, let's move to the another question and try to solve. Here the question is about the Golden Triangle region is a major drug production in area, producing area in South Asia. So why we had brought this question? Because there was a article which is very much relevant to it. It talked about how Indians are caught in the vortex of the Golden Triangle. You know how the cybercrime has found its hub in this Golden Triangle region, how they are duking Indian innocent people who want jobs, how the middlemen, by the help of Indian middlemen, they are duking Indian people, and how they are using them in the cybercrime, in drug trafficking and other crimes which are very much effective and very much relevant in the Golden Triangle region. So by discussing this all, we would come to know what this region is all about. And here, why, let's dig deep into the article. You know what the article actually tries to say, that you would have often heard about digital arrests recently, how these uh, fraudsters are they would call somebody and they will act as some policeman. They will use such scenarios, and they will tell that particular person, that you had committed some crime, or some crime has been committed via your bank account, and now you are digital arrest, and they will do that person, and they will take huge amount of money from that particular person. This, how this is happening, how they are doing this from that particular country, in our, how they are controlling that this whole industry from this particular region. in India. So how this is happening? So this is what they do. They dupe Indian citizens who want job through their middlemen. The middlemen in India. They will they will talk with Indian citizens. They will talk with the Indian people. They would tell them that they are going to find a job for them in the Southeast Asia, particularly in these countries. They will take them there, and they will get kidnapped there. Their passports will be taken, and they even there are cases that they get beaten there, and they are forced to do such jobs to duke other citizens of our country. So this is how this industry works. So here we need to know, irrespective of what the context is, we need to know what this golden triangle region is about. What are the countries which come under it? So the question says the golden triangle region is a major drug producing area in Southeast Asia. 100% correct. Which of the following countries are part of the golden triangle? Myanmar, Thailand, Laos. 100% correct. Even after these, this is the major part of the golden triangle, and this is correct with respect to question, but it is also said that Cambodia is also the part of it. So with respect to this question, the correct option is option A, which is Myanmar, Thailand, and Laos. So with this, I hope you had understood the context behind the question and also the question itself. Now with this, let's move to the another question here and try to solve it. Here the question says the India EFTA Trade and Economic Partnership Agreement, which is TAPA, was signed in 2024. We all know about it. If you had gone through the news analysis, or you had gone through the current affairs of 2024, you would definitely know that India signed it in the earlier months of the 2024 with EFTA countries. So here the question says which of the following countries are part of the European Free Trade Agreement? Free Trade Association. About European Free Trade Association, these are the countries which are not part of the European Union. Majority of the countries in Europe are the part of the European Union, but these countries stayed away from the European Union. And also about European Union, as we are discussing about it, recently we saw few years back how the United Kingdom also withdrew from European Union. And also we discussed it in our previous class also, Schengen zone, also how these countries use that for the free travel. Now coming back to the question, it talks about what are the countries which are part of the EFTA, European Free Trade Association. We need to know it. So these are Iceland is the part of it, Liechtenstein is the part of it, Norway is the part of it. Is Sweden part of it? No, it is not Sweden, it is Switzerland. Now I will tell you why I had brought this question, even though there was no proper mention of it in our news analysis, in our newspapers today. There was no proper mention of the EFTA itself. But why we had brought it? Because of the recent concerns between the Switzerland and India. As we in our recent class also we saw that how Switzerland has removed the special status which the countries give to each other under WTO, how they had removed it for India. MFN states, most favored nation status, how Switzerland removed it for India, because India has already removed it. So with respect to this, the Jai Shankar, the foreign minister of our country, he gave the statement that it won't impact the companies in each other's of each other country. It won't impact the removal of this MFN status. It won't impact neither it would impact the Switzerland's companies, nor it would impact the Indian companies. So he tried to console the citizens about it. And also why we brought this question, because there was as right now the Portuguese foreign minister is in our country, and he discussed about that India should continue negotiations with respect to the free trade agreement with the European Union. And we had started those agreements. We had started negotiation with the European Union about the free trade agreement with the European Union back in 2007. Free trade agreement with EU back in 2007. But because of some concerns, for example, especially the sanitation concerns and other what are these, and the mindset of developed and developing nation, we were not able to come to any conclusion. So right now the Portuguese foreign minister is here in India, as he is the part, as Portugal is the part of the European Union. He he asked Indians to please, they should speed up, and they should try to sort out the disagreements with the European Union, and they should try to come up with this agreement, with this free trade agreement. And the name of that free trade agreement is BTIA. So this much is important for us, which I believe you should know about it. So with this, I hope you had understood the question itself and also the context behind the question. Now with this, let's move to the last question from the current affairs today, and after that we will shift it towards the some static part question. Here the question, the last question with respect to the current affair is about the hemophilia. It says, what is the primary difference between hemophilia A and hemophilia B? Why we have brought this question? Because the treatment of hemophilia, it is uh, very difficult and it is very costly. Right now there are different ways and methods by which it can be treated. For example, the earlier methods of blood transfusion, which was highly painful, and patients have go through this routine continuously. Then after that the genetic therapy was brought in, and the one of the ways one of the ways of genetic therapy which was approved by US FDA was Roctavian, and unfortunately it is too much expensive for a common man in our country. And also, if about hemophilia, it is said that over 1 lakh patients of hemophilia are in our country which suffer from this disease, and most of them belong to the poor families, so it gets very hard for them to get such treatment. And also with respect, is we recently saw that how the medical college in Vellore, they had come up with the new way of genetic therapy, lentivirus, how they are using lentivirus as a base to treat the hemophilia. And about this, it is more effective than the earlier one which is recommended by US FDA. But the issue with it is also that it is too much expensive. It would take mostly 2 to 3 crores, through 2 to 3 crore for a patient to get cured, and it would be 10-year long time period would be in curing this disease. Also about hemophilia, it is the coagulation, that the blood coagulation is impacted because of this disease. So we need to, this much is enough for you to know about the hemophilia. Now with this, there are two types of hemophilia. It is hemophilia A and hemophilia B, and it may be asked in the exam what is the difference between these two, as these are often mentioned in the newspaper. So here the question, first statement says hemophilia A is more severe than B, and nothing to do with the severity. Second, hemophilia A is caused by a deficiency in factor 8, while hemophilia B is caused by a deficiency in factor 9. 100% correct. Here factor can be assumed as protein. So this is the proper difference between the two. Hemophilia A is caused by deficiency in factor 8, while hemophilia B is caused by deficiency in factor 9. So this is the correct answer to this question, and I hope by understanding this question itself you had understood the difference between the two, and also what is the context behind it. So now, what, as it is right now, it is very much to treat hemophilia, it is very much expensive. So what can be the solution? Here the people, here the scientists, everybody wants that government should intervene in it and make it more affordable for the common people. So with this, we complete today's discussion with respect to the current affairs and the questions from the current affairs. I hope you had understood them very properly, and if I was not clear anywhere, please do write in the comments. I will try to make those points very much clear to you, and if mistakenly I was wrong anywhere, please do write in the comments. I will try to correct myself. Now with this, let's move towards the static part and try to understand these simple static topics. Here today's static question is about Article 42 of the Indian Constitution. So let's understand it by this question. Let's see what does the question say. It says, consider the following statements regarding Article 42 of the Indian Constitution. First statement, it is a part of directive principle of state policy, 100% correct. Part 4 of the Indian Constitution, which is written as this. Second statement, it mandates the provision of just and humane conditions of work and maternity leave. 100% correct. This is exactly what Article 42 says. It mandates the government that they should frame the provisions of just and humane conditions of work and maternity leave, maternity relief Third, it is enforceable in a court of law. Totally incorrect. It is not directly enforceable in a court of law. But if any law has been framed by by taking the inspiration from Article 42, then it can be enforced. That law can be that law can become the enforceable in court of law. That particular law is then enforceable in a court of law, but directly this principle is not enforceable as it belongs to part 4 and they are not enforceable under Article 37 of the Indian Constitution. Fourth statement, it has been instrumental in shaping labor laws and social security legislations in India. 100% correct. This is a correct statement. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1, statement 2 and statement 4 only. And from the code given below, the correct code would be option C. So by solving this question, I hope you had understood this article also. Now with this, let's move towards the last part of today's discussion, which is solving the previous year question. Here the question says, the the objective of the Butler Committee in 1927 was to, what was the objective of the Butler Committee of 1927? Is it define the jurisdiction of central and provincial governments? No, it was not about it. Second, define the powers of the Secretary of State for India? No, totally incorrect. Define impose censorship on national press? Totally incorrect. Statement one, maybe we can rethink over it. But if we see, when we look at the statement 4, which says improve the relationship between the government of India and the Indian states, this becomes more correct because it was, this committee was formed because of that, to deal with the relationship between the government of India and the Indian states. So with respect to this, the correct option is option D. So by this we understood what the Butler Committee is when it was formed. In yesterday's class also we saw there was a question which was asked about the what is the chronological order. So by these questions, by understanding these questions, as we see the dates also here, they give us that idea what is the chronological state of this particular committee. Tomorrow a question may be asked. For example, they will give different committees and they will tell you, mark them correctly, and trust me, they will definitely take some. If such question they are going to frame, they will frame those objectives, those statements in those questions which they had already asked. So this is how it becomes important for you to learn the previous year questions. And also it is said that they act as a previous year questions act as a bible for your preparation, so you need to know about it. So with this, we complete today's discussion. I would like to say goodbye to you guys. Please do study well. Do take the notes of these questions. They are going to be very much important for you. And best of luck to you guys. Best of luck for whatever you are studying for. Thank you for staying with me. Please do subscribe.